it, but professing it in such a vibrant manner. I mean, we walked down the streets and everybody were just singing hymns and waving flags, and you felt the love, you felt the connection. You can just, feel that, okay, these are not just Catholics, but they're youths like ourselves that professing faith just like us, and you felt the love when they ran and they hugged you and they wanted to know who you are and where you're from, and everybody just wanted to take pictures. It was just overwhelming feeling for me. That was amazing.
Yeah, we had the opening ceremony. It took place on Copacabana Beach. When the Pope arrived, it was very, there were a lot of chanting, singing, screams from all over.
People were in tears.
But apart from that, I think each one of us felt like a miracle inside of us, that spirit moving among us, because when we looked across to each other, like tears were naturally flowing from our eyes. Some persons were kneeling, and the atmosphere was good. They were waving the flags, and a lot went on among each one of us.
The energy, of the crowd and everything else was just amazing. The opening ceremony, I think the first thing that we went to on Copacabana Beach was actually Mass, but not with the Pope. It was with the Archbishop of Rio de Janeiro and the other major prelates of the Brazilian clergy. What was nice and moving for me is that, we found ourselves following along. We had the liturgical, we had a book that had the translation Portuguese and English, so we were following the Mass as it went. And you as much as it was in a different language, you knew what was going on. Yes. And even though they were saying it in Portuguese, we were responding in English as usual. One of the interesting things for me is we found ourselves kneeling in the sand. How you would kneel for the consecration. There we were with about 1 million other people on the beach. The place is cold. The sand is cold and wet, and still, you're just moved, as Sue just said, you were just moved, and there you were with everybody else, and you were just kneeling in the sun. We were doing things like taking communion on the tongue. We had catechesis sessions in the church that I just mentioned that was close to where we were staying.
Run by bishops.
Yeah, different bishops from around the world. We had one from Australia. We had one from Nigeria. We had Ireland. And each day was a different topic. You had, I think the first time it was identity. Who you are as a Catholic. I think the questions were, who am I loved, and who do I love? Then the next day there was one on suffering. What were the others?
Love.
I think mission, discipleship was also one of them. Then we had the actual welcome ceremony with the Pope. I kept joking before I went that, when I'm seeing him, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
and
I think he was like an ordinary person.
But when you actually saw the guy, and he passed on the street within inches of you and everything else, it's just the tears. You just actually, everybody, all the other young people there were also getting emotional, and what was amazing, I think all of us when we saw him,
people even climb up in the trees.
Yeah, it was like Zacchaeus, people getting up, and I did not expect it would happen, because I'm not the kind of person that gets emotional in public.
And that's just it. I didn't get to meet the Pope, but you felt his presence.
Being in his
presence. Just being in his presence just felt so overwhelming, Something just came over you and just moved you and moved me to tears.
To like kiss a child.
Yeah, that was also inspiring. As he traveled through the streets of Rio, he stopped and he hugged the babies, the children, everybody, the lame, the sick.
He came out and he spoke to the older folks,
And the smile, the guy, I saw him from a distance, but he was smiling when he passed on. And that it was just... The whole energy of the event and the experience was just amazing. It's definitely, I would say, one of those things that you remember for life.
I think for me, one of the most moving things were the testimonies by young people. Because sometimes, as young people, you think that you're alone, you're going through these things, or probably your country alone is going through it. But to hear some of the heart wrenching testimonies, I mean, most of them made me cry. It made me feel connected to these young people, that they weren't just young people, or they weren't just Catholics, but they were young people going through things that I also have experienced, and to know that they made it through, that they were lost and now they're found, or they were falling off the edge and they were able to find God and find faith and bring themselves back. And to know that, it just made me believe that, okay, God does love me. And
Very true.
it has renewed my faith.
Yeah, I think also the message which the bishop sent also was important and really inspired me in terms of like young people must fall in love with Christ.
All over again.
Yes. Personally, I think young people should see Christ. Like Pope Francis once said in one of his homily, he said that we must not let money or treasure or worldly things intoxicate us. We must be able to see Christ, because with him there is that happiness, there is that satisfying of that need in order to, be a better person.
And that is so true, because I've recently actually joined the Catholic faith. I've been confirmed in April. And, you think things like money and wealth and material things and gains matter to you, but really and truly, when you die, you don't have that. What are really important are friends. Friends and family, people who love you and care about you. I mean, those are the things that actually brought me back to my faith. I was falling off the edge, and my friends were there for me. They brought me back on board. My family was there for me. Showing love, giving love, and having love come back to me was actually what brought me back into the Catholic community, and it's one of his messages. You go out there and you share all the love that you have. You give it, and you give it with all your heart.
Seeing your friends, I think we spoke about that in the
We did. What was interesting for me, some of the questions that actually popped up during the catechesis session. One of the catechesis session was on suffering, and I think that's something that young people nowadays need to understand. We tend to have this idea that when we get involved in church, everything is supposed to be perfect, but then no, as the Pope said, the message of Christ, the message of the gospel is the cross, and we're all meant to suffer in some way. We all have a cross to bear, but that cross is not meant to make us weaker. It's meant to make us stronger, especially in our faith, and it's meant to bring us in a closer relationship with Jesus. We tend to think as young people that God is this person distant or far away in space, and you go to church on a Sunday and that's it. But no, the World Youth Day has reminded me of something that I know the priests here, like Father John, always say, that you're meant to be in a relationship with Jesus. You're meant to be in a relationship with God. It's not just I know him, he knows me, or you go to church on a Sunday and you pray and that's it.
And like the bishop said from Nigeria, that life can't always be sweet at one time. There must be some sort of bitterness in between. But it's just to level out mind.
What was really good is that I love the sessions where the young people actually got up and they asked questions and they were able to voice their opinions. A lot of times you feel as though you don't have that opportunity because you're young people, you don't have anything to say or anything to add. But we're the future of the church, and we have concerns. We need to know our faith much more deeper, so we need to ask questions. And I love the fact that we were able to have those sessions to ask those questions and they were answered, and we were able to voice their opinions about problems that youths have all over the world. So it was really nice to have a say and have other youths hear their opinions about different things that they go through in their countries.
Bind us together.